Hello there. Welcome to Nana's Classic Stitches channel. If you are new, welcome and thank you for clicking. I thank all my subscribers and returnees. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this in the globe. Welcome to Nana's channel again. Today, I'm going to start you off with this blouse. B, new look 65.98, and I'm sewing style B. Now, instead of the buttons, instead of buttons, I'm going to use zipper. Separate zipper that you can separate, that you usually use for jacket and coat, but not too heavy like a winter coat, just like something like spring coat and whatever. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through the changes that I did with the pattern for me to be able to do the zipper instead of the buttons and buttonholes. Okay, so hold on, let me switch things around and I'll be back. Okay, there, I'm back. Now let's start with the back first. Okay, I lengthened my blouse 2 inches. Now this is the back, cuts off fold, and then you have your dart, and you have piece of a tie that goes at the back, so that all that is done. Okay, and then I press the dart to the center front there. So let me put this aside. Now this is the sleeve. I also lengthened the sleeves, I think 3 inches, and I'm using a contrast for the band and for the high neck. Okay, I'm using a contrast. So now you have the back and you have the sleeve. Now this is the front. This is the front. I also stitch the dart and press it towards center front. Okay, now this is how, instead of me redrafting the pattern, what I did is the center front, I reduced the seam allowance. I didn't cut the seam allowance. So my seam allowance is going to be, excuse me, the extension for the button and buttonhole. That's going to be my seam allowance for the zipper. Okay, instead of me drafting a whole new pattern. That's the way I did it. Now, so this is the back facing. I added the 5/8 seam allowance that I took from center front. I added it to the back, and then I reduce the under collar. Okay, I reduce it, the seam allowance, because it goes on center front. Okay, center back and center front, and I've reduced the 5/8. I've taken that out. And then this is the facing. Again, I reduced the 5/8. I took the 5/8 out and added it to the other side. Okay, the same way I've added it to the facing of the back. So let me show you in the pattern instruction sheet. So you will see it and understand it properly. Oh, before I do that, let me show you the band for the sleeve. I also lengthen that. Okay, so that one is also done. Now, this is the part that I showed you that I've done. Okay, there's no shadow, that's good. See, that's the back. That's the one I showed you. Now, this is the under collar. So I reduce the 5/8, and then this is the, where is it? Center front, and I reduce the 5/8, and this is the center back. So these are the pieces, the facing. So if you look at this, I've reduced the color and the center front. And as I said, I'm going to use the seam allowance, which is supposed to be for the button and buttonholes. That's going to be my seam allowance now. Okay, so, and I added that 5/8 at the outer edge of the facing. Okay, so I hope you get it. So this is how I've done it now, and I put all my interfacing on there already. Okay, so I think this is gonna be the end of this video, and next week we'll continue. But hold on. Hello there. Now I've walked you through the front of the blouse. I have reduced it, did the dart. I've walked you through the back with a tie at the center back, the under collar, the back facing, the binding for the sleeve, and then the facing. Okay, so, and as I said, I was going to use a zipper instead of buttons. So this will be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Today I didn't sew, so next week I'll start sewing. Okay, though I've done a couple of sewing ahead of time, but then next week I'll start sewing with you guys. So thank you for watching. Happy sewing, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye for now. See ya.